And it's not just that the officiating's bad, Tom.
Terrible.
I saw you boot the guy last night out of your stream who said women should not be officials.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I thought about this.
Yeah.
I lost a little sleep, but I don't think men should be allowed to be NFL officials.
Oh, baby. It just never gets old. It never gets old. You just cruising down the street. Beautiful. Wind in your hair. Got the top down. And you're like, oh, man, I don't know where I'm going. Well, baby, we going to get you there with a little GPS.
Grassi, Perna, show.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Grassi. Brandon Perna.
If you want to compare us to an actual navigation system, I like to imagine we're that scene in The Office where Michael Scott just drives his car into the lake because he's saying that the GPS is telling him to do it.
It's telling him to turn
no, it means
right.
veer right. No, it means turn right.
There's no road here.
Just keeps going.
That's good. That's what we are. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of GPS. We're here on Friday morning, October 15th, halfway through spooky season.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Booby.
That's it. That's it. A third of the way through the entire NFL season already. Look at that.
Oh, my God. Yay.
That's it.
I count down the season by how many games I have left to cover every week.
There's a lot. There's a lot more.
I hate about like mid October to end of November is where it just feels like there's no end. And then December comes, you're like, okay, we're getting close, get through this month. And then you get the playoffs and you're jazzed again. And then the Super Bowl comes and it's gone and you're sad.
Yeah, and then you're just like, where did football go? It's like, I feel like there's like so much in such a short amount of time, especially with this season. Like we keep talking about, even last night, like the game was bad, but at the end, it actually got exciting and got close again.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, like, and they go for 2 and they make it a 6-point game. And I'm like, ooh, things are going to get interesting. And then there won't be any football for like months. And you'll be like, this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Last night was the first Thursday night game I did not want to watch.
Yeah.
I was like, entirely man, there's football on. I got to pay attention.
Yeah. I got to get on my Twitters. I got to tweet about it.
I got to tweet. I got to know what we're going to talk about today, which
there's a lot.
Here's a storyline I'm already tired of talking about. Horrible NFL officiating. And
every week,
Eagles fans, you should be pretty upset because it felt like you could not get a call to go your way through the entirety of the game. Now, I'm not saying it would have changed the game necessarily, but there was maybe the most poorly timed taunting call we've seen this season. I think that did affect the game.
Yeah.
Tom Brady playing, very good football. I saw somebody on Twitter say, is Tom Brady playing the best football of his career? He's had like the best 4-game stretch statistically. So we'll get into that. We've got to preview some of the key games this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw you tweet about this man. Both you and I are fanboys of this man. And I thought this was a good time to bring up a stat that the Jacksonville Jaguars have not won a football game since one Gardner Minshew was their quarterback.
How could you move on from that? Like how, like, look, that's a man right there.
That is a man.
That's a specimen. I love how it's literally Gardner Minshew and we're just fighting. That's how it should be. Gardner Minshew this honestly is how we should do every show.
The whole show?
And just be like, Gardner Minshew, and he would agree with this. They're like, I mean, come on. I know he cut the mullet, which is disappointing.
That's why he's not a starter.
That's honestly, that's it. And I was saying, like, cowards, put him in. And they were like, Tom, the Ohio chat was like, Tom, he's not active. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about your excuses. Yeah. Put him in. Put him in. Your boy Lettuce.
Hey, it almost worked. All right. We got close.
Now, before we jump into last night's game, I want to mention something that there was a little concern in my chat last night because you put the curse on Tom Brady, right? Mm-hmm. And Tom Brady, as we know, they were talking about he has all the Infinity Stones, so the curse might just like slip off of him. And if it slips off of him and it drops down to the number 2 spot, that would be the Buffalo Bills.
That's not how it works.
It's not like a symbiote that like, it just like it just like, all right, I can't latch onto this one. I'm just going to move down.
As somebody who spent years studying the art of dark magic, that's not how it works.
Okay.
Infinity Stones, you're quoting Marvel.
I mean,
they don't know shit about curses,
excuse me,
honest.
There are plenty of curses in the Marvel universe.
And they're inaccurate.
Okay,
somebody who studied this from a scientific perspective.
All right, so you're going into the Harry Potter realm. That's what we're going with. You're going with WB, not Disney.
No, I'm going into The Witcher. I'm going into The Wicker Man with Nick Cage.
Those are completely different things.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
Oh, Valley of Plenty. Nah, you got that song stuck in your head all day.
Here's the curse.
Let's get it.
This is what's going to happen. I realized I cannot be in control of determining who will be cursed.
Yep.
I think week 1 was innocent. Week 1 was innocent. Week 2 innocent. Week 3 was like, I don't believe this curse is real, but screw it. Let's put the Raiders up there. Yeah. Turns out to be real.
Very real.
And actually it was a week after that because it was post the week. Anyway,
yep.
Then I put the Cards there and then the Bucks, and I think I ordered a spin wheel. So from now on, I'm going to write the episode. I'm not going to put a curse on anybody.
Nope.
Then we're going to spin the wheel at the start of the episode, and whatever number that lands on will be the curse.
I'm terrified.
Because also, probability-wise, the good teams are going to be in that top spot. I got to get real weird and start putting like bad teams to go there. So I think keeping 1 through 10 open makes the curse honorable.
Yeah. No, I get it. It better not go to the Sixels.
No.
It better not. Listen.
It's got to be out of my hands.
I mean, listen, I want Jordan Love to succeed, but if he doesn't, Minshew to the Packers, book it. Book it.
That's what I thought the Broncos were going to do this offseason.
Dude, I feel like you would just be, I'm not saying you're not happy, but I'm just saying you'd be significantly happier, even if you were losing, if Gardner Minshew was your quarterback. Yeah. I'm just saying.
He could do no wrong in my eyes.
Wait, is that real, Con Man?
What?
Wait, because I heard that they wanted. Oh, damn. Yup. Holy crap. Breaking news. The Eagles trading Pro Bowler tight end Zach Ertz to the Cardinals.
Oh, wow. I guess I cursed the Eagles.
I mean, they were talking about, all right, they're doing it for in exchange for a corner, Tay Gowan, and a 2022 5th-round pick. Zach Ertz had a good night last night, too.
Yeah, they finally targeted him.
Yeah, they actually threw him the ball. I mean, they want Goddard, which, by the way, I have Goddard in fantasy, so that's going to be real great. But I'm sorry, that Stephen A. Smith reaction to the Cardinals offense is phenomenal. But, damn. Okay.
Breaking news. Do we change the title to the video right now?
Yeah, we totally do that. We totally change that. Just everything changes. Everything changes. Everything. Damn.
Wow, I mean, look at that. We covered breaking news. Ertz.
We did
it. The Cards. Wow, looks like that's reverse curse there, Arizona. You got reverse cursed because you just had a very capable tight end in continuity with the Eagles offseason, adding age over beauty for their roster. So far, it's been working out.
Yeah.
Really, the one mistake the Cardinals, they're both birds, you know what I mean? The one mistake the Cardinals have made was letting Hassan Reddick go.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, he had an amazing season last year, and he's a young guy. I just don't think I think they wouldn't have paid him like that. I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah. And, he's I think he's second in sacks right now. And after that week 1 dominant Chandler Jones performance, he hasn't had the production in terms of dropping the QB.
Yeah.
But on the offensive side of the ball, the Eagles now are dang it, the Cardinals now become very hard to defend by adding Ertz in there. Like, you just gave Kyler Murray another weapon. Like a savvy veteran tight end is kind of the threat you really want in the red zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're trying to defend Hopkins, Kyler Murray.
Yep. Christian Kirk, AJ Green, now Ertz. Zach Ertz.
And even like James Conner, who hasn't had a ton of like overall production, he's got like 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns this season. They've been using in the red zone. So
a little back and forth. Chase Edmonds.
That's a nice move, Arizona.
All right. So, did you change your title already?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did you?
I didn't do it yet.
I got
the thumbnail won't match, and it's a whole thing. So it's a whole thing. We should change it though.
We'll change it after the show.
Okay.
And then I can update the thumbnail for us.
So yeah, I mean, Cardinals win that trade. Easy. Because I feel like if you're the Eagles, besides like, and we'll get into like the actual game specifics, but looking at just kind of like a macro view, the Eagles for that entire, I would say like 3 quarters, they just look bad. Like that offensive line, I know there's a lot of injuries there, but I tweeted that out last night. I said, I don't know what QB is successful behind that O-line. And Jalen Hurts sailed some balls. Like it was not great, but the Eagles, I feel like they were just like, okay, we're not going to be good. I know that Zach Ertz was like on the field with Carson Wentz at the end of the year last year, like the final game of like, this is like goodbye. Ertz stayed with the team. I feel like the Eagles have been trying to offload him this entire time. And they've found somebody in the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think he had like a bet with Jason Kelsey or something about the trade. So it was a big story, and we all assumed this trade would happen before the season started.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are adding a corner, which is nice. But they've been getting some decent play out of guys like Darius Slay in their secondary.
Yeah.
And the Bucks, last night's game, it felt like the Bucks should have won by a lot more points.
Oh, yeah.
More tutties. Should have been more tutties by the Buckies. And the Eagles' offense, I mean, okay, let's just get into this. First of all, Nick Sirianni, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? New head coach decides he's going to be a new head coach and a play caller. Turns out he is not good at calling plays yet. Now, given maybe over time he becomes a good play caller, but why have an offensive coordinator then if you're going to be a head coach and call plays during the game is what I wonder, because that seems like the best job on earth is to be an OC and you don't even have to call plays on games. It's like being a priest and you don't have to give a sermon on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like,
just like I get to sit back here, eat some crackers, drink some wine. Like we vibe it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying Sirianni, maybe doesn't have the creativity to be a good play caller, but it seems like he skipped that step because he wasn't calling plays in Indy.
Yeah.
And now he's the head coach and he's doing this. Just a lot to take on as a head coach.
Yeah.
So the Eagles run the ball one time in the first half, one rushing attempt. And I know the Bucks are not a team to run on. It's the toughest in the NFL, but you have to keep the defense honest if you want to attack a secondary that also lost Richard Sherman after exactly 5 seconds of coverage last night. Pulls his hamstring. And that's, outside of the off-field stuff, that was a concern with teams signing Sherman. Is he's getting older. He had some injury issues. Will that flare up again? Already happened. So the Eagles play calling, not putting a young QB in a position to succeed, in my opinion.
Correct.
And in the second half, when they started running with Miles Sanders, who finished with 5.6 yards per carry, 56 yards, him and Hurts, I think, combined for exactly 100. That's when they started having success.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much success it was in terms, because they didn't try, right? But at the end, I'm wondering if it's more defending the pass and not stacking the box and like that allowing Sanders. But the thing for me is there was not like, it's not like the pass was working either, because I kept looking, especially over at left tackle, there were free rushers like every single play. Like Jalen Hurts got that football and he had a run like immediately. There's a couple times where he had a nice pocket and he missed some throws or he made some connected with some throws. But holy crap, man, that guy was on the run every second of his life. And a question came up in my chat last night during the stream, and it was something I was saying last year about Carson Wentz. Like, people were ripping Carson Wentz last year. And I'm like, this is the O-line he had. Like, this is the O-line he dealt with. Like, Carson Wentz got sacked. What was his, I think it was like 50 times or some crazy number like that last year. He got, because I want to pull it up because I remember looking at it last year. Last year, he got sacked 50 times. 50. 5-0.
That's a lot of sacks.
That's a lot of sacks. Like, that is a lot. I mean, this year, the game is obviously, we're only, a third of the way through. He's been sacked 12 times, but 50 freaking times. Like, if you are a QB, especially a young QB, and you have no time to throw the football, it's going to be very difficult for you to be successful. Like, Deshaun Watson has not had an offensive line for a while. I know they traded and they got Tunsil and all that stuff, but for a long time, he's been running for his life. He is like the anomaly. He's the exception there because he's able to make those plays and he's learned from running for his life. But if you want the Eagles to be good, you could get all the wide receivers in the world, but you need to give that man some protection. Again, I know that there's injuries along the offensive line for the Eagles, but holy crap, man, get him some help because he's going to die back there.
The Eagles need to look at how the Ravens build their roster and their front because, it's like it'll be, I think, a while before Jalen Hurts turns into a guy who is like a quick read pocket passing type QB.
Yeah.
And you want to take advantage of his strengths, and he's incredibly athletic. He is fast. That's why he's given the offense a chance sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're right. You have to build a beastly front, but also part of the reason the Ravens offense has been working so well is because they can run the football with any of their running backs. They've had success with whoever they put in there. They commit to getting those guys the ball. And if Jalen Hurts is a threat in the run game and you have to defend a running back who's a threat, that will open up your ball catchers for, big plays. And, it takes a while to figure out, but you have to tool that offense to meet Jalen Hurts' strengths while also building in the trenches.
Well, I feel like it's like the 49ers and like what they're attempting to build with Trey Lance, right? Because Trey Lance is a mobile QB and they have this foundation of a great running game. I know everybody's hurt right now, but like, that's what I'm afraid about with the 49ers. Like Trey Lance, if he can be a good quarterback, a successful quarterback, they run the ball so much that it's like, hey, is it going to hand it off to Mostert or is Trey Lance going to take off? And teams, they're just going to have so much to defend. Like there's so many things and they're really good running, especially with like Kittle blocking and all that stuff. Like they're going to be a good team if Trey Lance is able to develop. But you look like they're paying the highest paid left tackle right now. Like they have the offensive line there to actually, protect their QB. So the Eagles don't have that. Like you look at the Bengals, and I gave the Bengals a lot of crap in the offseason because they went with Jamar Chase instead of Sewell. However, they at least got additions. Like people came back from injury, like they got additions. The Eagles really haven't done that. So I feel like that's
Jamar Chase balling.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase is doing really well. Correct. Yep.
But Penei Sewell's been great too. So, it takes one hit to one, bad play to ruin your QB for the season.
Correct.
But like,
that's why I have 3.
There's guys they can draft probably this coming draft that maybe will help their line. The Bengals don't like to spend money, so they'll need to do it that way.
Yeah.
But okay, so I did want to talk about the officiating in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel after every primetime game, we're all thinking the horrible officiating was a story.
Yeah.
It's just they're making the wrong calls. They're making the wrong calls and we can all see it and it's driving us all nuts. Let me just name off what they got wrong for the Eagles. They had the Epps interception reversed. Okay. So the Eagles get a pick. Ball maybe touches the ground for a half second. Booth official says looks like a catch, enough of a catch. The call on the field's a catch. You stick with the catch. Takes the refs 30 friggin' minutes to review this play. It was the longest review of the season.
Yep.
And they reverse it. By rule, if there's not conclusive evidence, you stick with the call on the field. So they get that wrong. Derek Barnett, after Tom Brady throws a pick, is shoving Tom Brady because the play is live and you can try and block the quarterback so he doesn't make a tackle.
Which is
the
great.
official steps between them and pushes Barnett off of Tom Brady. I have never seen that happen during a game. A official intervened with a block. Can't do that. That is beyond stupid. If you're the NFL, that is a bad look. That is a bad look. Okay? That just shouldn't have happened. That is, don't touch Tom Brady. That's the epitome of protecting Brady.
Literally, it was just like, don't hurt my friend.
Yeah. There is a missed pass interference call where Ertz throws the ball. Eagles, first of all, the refs rule it a catch. Incorrect, was not a catch. Then they say it's not a catch. And then you look at the play, and Jamel Dean is I forget who the receiver was, but Jamel Dean is over the back of him with his arm up through his body before the ball even comes close to getting there. And there's official looking right at it. That is pass interference 100% of the time. They miss it. Okay. Fourth quarter.
Came with notes today. Berta's just like, I documented this.
Fourth quarter. They have to review the Quez Watkins catch.
Yep.
Got to review it. It was a catch. There's I guess the officials can say, no, like in somebody's ear, that was a catch. Because they were talking about the quick review. They're like, no, they're going to look at this on the field for some reason. So it just takes some time. So they got the call wrong. They got it right through the review. And then finally, fourth quarter, Eagles finally get within 6. And they do it by scoring a touchdown, going for 2, converting 2 so they can score a touchdown and win the game. Great call there by Nick Sirianni. Like the balls, Nick. I criticized you earlier. Love that call in that situation because it worked.
Yep.
Had you messed up, I would ridicule you for it.
Well, I think we were talking about this, why are they going for 2? Because there's an 8-point game. So either way, if they miss it, they just go for 2 again. And they're going to need a stop anyway. So yeah, I mean, then potentially you go down the field, score a touchdown and win. So
you give yourself the chance to win with an extra point at the end of the game. So Brady gets the ball back. There's 5 minutes left. Leonard Fournette has a little run to the sideline. Think he picks up the first down in the situation. Can't really remember.
He was great.
Guy gets in his face after the play a little bit. Refs throw flag for taunting. 15-yard penalty for taunting in the fourth quarter with less than 5 minutes in the game. Now you could say, okay, the Bucks, probably go down the field anyway, run out the clock, no difference. But 15 yards in that situation, it put him at midfield.
I think it's here's what I'll say about that. It's in that situation, right? If you're looking at it, you could call taunting on it based off what they've made the rule. Now they're emphasizing it. Yes, they can. I'm not saying the actual enforcement of the rule is the problem. I think the issue is the fact that this is even an issue. Because in the fourth quarter, at that moment, I'm not saying the Eagles win that game or even come back and, tie the game or anything like that, but that's not the point. It just takes away from the game. And listen, I think it was Avery, right, who got in the face of that. He shouldn't be doing it, especially with how ridiculous the refs have been. He shouldn't be doing it. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's just, what purpose does that serve in the game? It just doesn't. It doesn't add anything to the game. Instead, it just subtracts from the game. So
it takes away. Takes away from players being allowed to, be in the moment of a football game. Sure. It is tough to go against other grown men physically for the course of a game. And then I guess the real issue is Fournette won that play. So I'm not sure what you're saying to Fournette there. Also, Fournette was a tattletale. Do you see him pointing?
He was look at him. Look what he's saying to me. He's saying bad means weird words to me.
Have you seen Leonard Fournette? That is a man you're not going to taunt. That is a man who can hold his own. Tattletale Lenny.
I mean,
Lenny
Fournette knows.
Tattletale.
I
Don't
mean,
like that.
He knows. Yeah. I just don't like how it's enforced. I don't like how it just takes away from the game. Like they're basically creating a problem or creating a solution for a problem that didn't exist. And the solution's worse than the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who, besides like, members of the Giants, I don't know what fan is like looking at them being like, you know what? These players, they're running their mouths too much. Play good football. Like, that's it. You don't want people to taunt? Play good football. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so stupid. Like, if you're going to say, we're going to make our emphasis on player safety, all about it, right? Yes, 100% player safety. The roughing the passer calls, can go either way, but what have you. But this ain't player safety. Like, it has nothing to do with player safety, and it's not enhancing or protecting players. It's not enhancing the game. It's not protecting players. Why is it there?
The one thing it's trying to curb about a 4-second clip from a 3.5-hour game where one guy might be looking at another guy or flexing on him. We don't know what they're saying. We don't get the audio from that. So we're not hearing like profane things. It's not an issue. We're like, there's kids watching this game, and too often we are hearing players say, John Gruden-esque things to each other on the field. That's not happening. It's a tiny segment where you might see two guys in each other's face, and you're left to wonder, ooh, what'd they say to each other there? And to me, I like that mystery. I like wondering what they're saying to each other. It just shouldn't. And if it happens in the first half, it's annoying. Yeah. But you're not like, this is affecting the game. You could argue it affected the game there. And to me, that's a problem as a fan watching. Last night, I didn't even care if the Eagles won that game. Like, I wanted them to win for my curse.
Sure.
But like, I also don't even care if Brady wins anymore. Like, I'm numb to watching him win. Like, I had zero rooting interest. And I was just like, this is taking me out of the game with these calls. Like, if I'm watching it objectively. So
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I just think you need to put emphasis on like what you're going to focus on. And I think that the emphasis on the taunting call this year is just a waste of time and energy.
Yeah,
it is. Unless it's so egregious where like, someone is teabagging another player to like ask these down. And it's just like, you like that? Like, then that's a different story. But, I think in terms of like, you're just saying stuff like, unless it's because I think you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. If there was like this epidemic in the NFL where because there was so much taunting, it was leading to these massive brawls and fights, then I'm like, you know what? Then maybe there's a problem. But how often does that happen? Like, it doesn't. No. Like, yeah, Kadarius Toney throw a punch, right? Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me. It's just
maybe
dumb.
Like the greatest taunt was I think it was Shannon Sharp on Derek Thomas. And I think there was like 3 or 4 personal fouls called in that game. I forget how many it was, but he was just in the dude's head, causing the guy to make bad plays over and over again. But that was happening like on the line of scrimmage, pre-snap and stuff. Like, that's probably where more actual crazy stuff's being said.
Yeah. That's a great point. Like, if you're trying to prevent another Garrett incident, but you can line up and you can say all this crap, right? Like, and nothing's going to get picked up. It's only after making a play.
Yeah.
Like that, like that's what it is. So 100%. But it is.
And honestly, the Garrett incident, that was great for ratings. That was great for ratings.
Not for.
You ever see a man try to kill another man with a football helmet? I hadn't at that point.
I watched the highlights of that, but no, it's I don't even think that this does this though. Like, I don't even think that resolves it whatsoever. But
if it does, it's like 100 taunting penalties are called, and maybe it prevented one minor scuffle.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Brady man.
Thomas Brady. Adam Schefter tweeted last night was the 112th time in Tom Brady's career in which he attempted at least 40 passes in a game, going 34, 42, 81%.
I love the responses to this tweet.
What's that?
I love the responses to this tweet.
Oh, I know. They're really funny. But that's why I clipped them in this screenshot. But the first of those in which he completed over 80% of his attempts.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Schefter getting roasted about if he fact checked with Bruce Allen. Did Tom review this tweet before he put it out? Schefter apologized, said he shouldn't have done that.
We talked about that on Clickbait yesterday.
Yeah, and Schefter's he's a football reporter. Like
Packers fans hate Schefter, so any other excuse they can have to hate Schefter, they will jump on that. So
I like Schefter.
He ruined our draft. He ruined it. So
that's true.
Yeah, he ruined it. He's dead to us now.
So I also saw this. Tom Brady's best 4-game stretch of his career, still getting better at 44. And Hydra, is he getting better, or does he just have the best roster in the league with the easiest schedule?
Well, if watching that game, the amount of screens that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers threw, tight end screens, halfback screens, wide receiver screens, holy crap. I mean, Brady, there were some throws he made last night, which were incredible. Like, there were some throws that he made, and I was like, damn, like, that's a nice throw. I think it was one to AB. Was it that one to AB? Or to that he lofted, like, right over the defender? Like, it was a perfect, like, literally just right into his hands. Like, and there was another one, like, near the sideline that he threw, and I was like, holy crap. Like, that was just a good throw. Because AB was good last night. But I think that, that makes a little bit up of the completion percentage. But I think considering how good Leonard Fournette was last night as well, like, this is to what Perna and I were saying. If you have a good running game to fall back on, like, yeah, you're already, like, way ahead of the curve. Like, and that's why you saw the Buccaneers were a lot better for 3/4 of that game against the Eagles. But at the same time, Tom Brady's playing some damn good football right now.
Tom Brady, he's playing very good football. I don't think he's getting better. I think he has peaked. I think what I wanted to, say there is he just surrounded himself with a better team. That is very true. I think if he were in New England still, he would still be playing good football. The Patriots would probably have a winning record, but he's got a better offensive line in Tampa Bay. He's got better weapons. I mean, you've got OJ Howard as your third string tight end right now. And I mean, even Howard got lucky on his touchdown pass last night because he almost fell on his face, which is why I think the Eagles stopped covering him. And then he was wide open and, Brady hit him. What Brady's going to do that young quarterbacks it takes them a long time they know where the play is going to open up. They know where the weakness is in the defense. And Tampa Bay's got receivers who are going to get separation. They're going to give you those easy throws. So I don't think Tom Brady's getting better. And what I really wanted to point out was that's a great stat for Tom. Okay. Yeah. First time he hit over 80% on completions. Lamar Jackson did that on Monday night. He had 86%. Wild. Throwing for over 400 yards. And he was the team's leading rusher. So I wanted to use that stat to point out again, because we talked about Lamar a lot last episode, but how special Lamar Jackson is and what he's doing.
Correct.
It's year 4 for Lamar, and he's already done something well. Yeah. Like, it took Brady until he was 44 to hit that number. Like, he's playing almost the way like Drew Brees kind of did, except Brady is just so much more healthy. Still has the arm. You're going to get those high completion games because you're taking a lot of easy passes. Difference is, like, Brady, and I hate giving him credit for it, he's always been better on the deep ball. Like, when he takes his chances, it's there. And then we saw Tom miss a lot of easy passes towards the end of the second quarter. They're like, he hit his thumb again or some shit. I don't know. But he could have had even better numbers in that game. And I think maybe a younger Brady might have. But
listen, Tom Brady's playing good football. I think that I love that tweet that you put out there. It was phenomenal. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's playing great football for his age. You can't argue that. He's playing better than he was in his 20s, but he's just in a perfect situation.
He is in a very, very fortunate situation. So I think, in terms of kind of going forward, the Buccaneers, they don't have the hardest schedule. They
got like 3 tough games for the rest of the season.
They got like very few tough games. I think that they're going to be fighting for that like number 1 seed in the NFC still. I think the Rams obviously beat them, which is big in terms of like the standings and stuff. But Yeah, it's gonna be a battle. But
yeah, the Bucks are going to get healthy at the right time too.
yep.
It's going to be
Great.
December and they're going to get healthy.
I have to say, the NFC playoffs this year are going to be insane. Like, they are going to be nuts. Like, think about it. You have 7 spots. You'd assume the Packers are going to be there. The Buccaneers are going to be there. The Cardinals are going to be there. The Rams are going to be there.
Cardinals could beat the Bucks.
Yeah. Cowboys are going to be there.
Cowboys could beat the Bucks.
That's just 5 teams right off the bat, right? And those are like 5 teams that legitimately have Super Bowl aspirations. Like, they could win. And then you throw in, like, there'll be 2 other teams, like maybe the 49ers turn it around or something like that.
Maybe,
no one else in the NFC
team.
East. They're not going to be there. But like, those are 5 really good teams. The matchups are going to be insane. So very much looking for, and in the AFC too. I mean, like, the Chiefs, I think will somehow they'll put it together at least somewhat to like either limp into the playoffs or whatever on their offense. You're going to have the Bills there. You're going to have the Browns there. You're going to have the Chargers there.
Yeah, the Chiefs is a wild card team. That can be crazy. See,
Yeah.
last year, the NFC, once they got to the playoffs, it felt like predetermined.
Yes.
I know people thought the Bucks could lose because, they didn't get the first round bye and they had losses early in the season. But if you're watching the Bucks in December, you're like, oh shit,
they were crushing everyone.
And this team is too good. And then they got Vita Vea back late in the playoffs.
Yep.
I was like, oh God.
Oh no.
But this year, like, I think everybody assumed it was going to be Packers Buccaneers in the championship game.
Yeah.
This year, there's going to be some mystery there because it's much more competitive this time around. And I think that's better. Like,
oh yeah,
even if the Bucks do get back to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to play better teams in the playoffs, despite having like an easy schedule now. And that might be something that actually hurts them in the playoffs. Like, how are you going to do when you got to play real talent?
Yeah.
Although, like, if Brady, the one issue too with Brady on the Bucks is not enough of his really good players get credit. And I think people are finally starting to credit Vita Vea, but the guy is probably the best nose tackle in the NFL. And I'm not sure if there's anybody close to wrecking games the way he does.
Kenneth Clark. True story.
Never heard of him.
Kenny Clark. He's a nose tackle for the Packers. He's highest paid nose tackle in the league. He is amazing.
He's not as good as Vita Vea.
He's a god. He's good.
But like,
Vita Vea is a monster though.
He's opening up so much for that defense. That defense is playing okay while they're decimated by injuries, and I think it's because of Vita Vea. All right, we can move on.
No more Tom Brady, no more Buccaneers. Let's get into actual football games that are coming back. Oh, by the way, Christian McCaffrey being questionable. Like, come on, man, you're killing me. Beat the Vikings. Beat the Vikings.
Did not attend practice yesterday, so they are monitoring that.
Please beat them. But we got some games. I will say, week 6, I'm not as excited about. There's a couple matchups in there that I'm like, okay, those are exciting, but I feel like this is, especially for Sunday Night Football, it's the first like Sunday Night Football game. I'm like, I'm really not feeling it. Sunday, you got Geno Smith and the Seahawks taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, they should have flexed that.
Yeah, I mean, because there's some games I think would be really good. Chargers, Ravens, I think are going to be good. Cardinals, Browns, I'm really excited for that game. That could be a really, really fun game.
Does Zach Ertz have to play 2 games this week?
He's not eligible to play.
Make him play again.
Make him do it again.
Make him play again.
Yeah, it's well. First of all, we both have some big rivalry games, Mr. Brandon Perna.
Oh my God, yeah, we do.
You got the Vegas Raiders with their brand new head coach heading into Mile High, take on Thunder and the Denver Broncos.
The most horseiest horse there is.
Buddy, I picked you to win. You better not let me down.
Oh, man.
I picked you to win. Okay?
Sorry.
It's all good.
I should be there Sunday watching the game live. Going to do some tailgate interviews with the game day. They're helping me do that. Right now, I'm just battling a cold. The whole family's battling the cold, so I probably got to do one of them COVID tests just to make sure I can go. Assuming, let's just say I'm questionable right now. I intend to play, but maybe something stops me from being there. This is interesting game because the question is, can Vic Fangio outcoach a team that doesn't have a head coach? That's what Broncos fans want to know. Rivalry, yes. Two teams that are in the same position in terms of they start out 3-0 and then they lose 2 games. The weird thing is the Raiders beat the Ravens and the Steelers. The Broncos lose to the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yep.
But then the Raiders lose their head coach. And I think the one thing Gruden did well was call plays on game day. Like, I think John Gruden was a solid play caller. He can manage a game. Not a good GM, should not be making player personnel decisions. I think he was bad at that. I think most Raider fans would agree with that. So I think in terms of how this affects the Raiders on Sunday, like, that's a big loss to have your offensive play caller gone. But I think that also makes it a little bit tougher for the Broncos to game plan against the Raiders because
agreed.
Not really sure what they're going to get. Nope. Broncos are getting Ronald Darby back in the secondary finally, which is good because Kyle Fuller struggled last week.
Has Bradley Chubb been back?
No, Chubb's not back yet. I think he's on until 8 weeks or whatever.
Oh, he's on long-term IR?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got put on short-term. My bad.
Yeah, I think he had to go to the 8-week one. So pass rush has been non-existent for the Broncos. Raiders pass rush existent. It does exist, mostly because of Max.
Are you telling me you're trying to convince me to pick the Raiders? And I might.
No, I think the Broncos win this game.
I need it. It's for the content, Perna. It's for the content.
Yeah.
I need you to send the Raiders to the basement. Okay.
Yeah.
I need you to send them down there.
I'm gonna do my best. If Coach lets me go out there and play, I'll run the ball. I'll run it well.
Okay. I'm believing in you. So.
I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be close, closer than it should be, But that's a lot for the Raiders to overcome. Talk about distractions.
Oh, yeah.
Like when people say, oh, this is going to be a distraction, and it's not. This week, distraction. I would say this is a big distraction.
I would say so. I think, besides rivalries, we have the Green Bay Packers heading to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. I had Adam Rank on yesterday for the interview for the preview. Nice. And he brought up something really interesting because how Packers fans have been talking about, like, this is the last dance with Aaron Rodgers. He was looking at it the same way. And so that's why he wants to win even more, to like kick Aaron Rodgers' ass and like send him out of the division. So like for like him, he's looking at it as like, this is our last opportunity to beat him at Soldier Field. Like, let's get it done. And I was like, that's actually a really interesting parallel. And listen, I think the Bears, they have a shot. They got a good shot. Elton Jenkins and Josh Myers, both are offensive linemen. They did practice, so that's a big, big thing if we wind up getting them back. Kevin King is going to be a game-time decision, so we could be without Kevin King and Jair Alexander in the secondary. Obviously, the Bears are having some issues with injuries as well, but Justin Fields is going to have opportunities to throw that football. So you might see some more from Justin Fields. The thing I will say about the Packers, though, is I don't think the Bears secondary is stopping Devontae Adams. The thing I'm concerned about is their pass rush. If Rodgers has time, it'll be good times for the Packers. But if he's constantly under pressure, that's a different story. So it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout unless the Bears just cannot get pressure on Rodgers, which their defensive line is like one of the best right now when it comes to pressure rate. So I think they lead the league in sacks. So
yeah, the Bears have been playing like sneaky good football on defense.
Yeah, defense is good.
I mean, it's why they've won a few games.
Yeah,
it has not been the offense. But I think I don't know. Kind of feels like an upset week to me for the Packers, if I'm being honest.
It could be.
But they should win this game.
They should. But again, we're so injured. And like this is David Bakhtiari is eligible to come back out of the PUP list after this week. We don't know if he'll be back immediately, but like there's some concern here because these next 2 games are winnable games for the Packers. I think this is going to be the tougher challenge. We have them this week. We have Washington next week. And then on Thursday night, we're playing the Cardinals. That's a rough turnaround on a short week going to Arizona.
Woo!
Yeah, that's gonna be a great game. Like I'm really looking forward to just watching that game. But that's gonna be tough, especially if they don't have Jair back.
Yeah, this is the gauntlet for the Packers.
They got because they have them, they have the Chiefs, then they have the Seahawks. Like and who knows if Russell's gonna be back.
Yeah, if they can get through this, though, I think that sets them up for success in the postseason. Like they're getting a really good test right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's important for teams. You don't want to be tested too much because sometimes that'll bounce you out of the playoffs altogether.
Yeah.
You just want the right amount of testing. Like the Buccaneers are on the flip side of that, where probably not going to be tested enough during the regular season. Packers, they're going to grind. They got to grind all the way.
Oh, it's a tough schedule. Yeah, no, there's not going to be anything that's easy here. So, yeah, it should be a close game, though. Should be a good game. And it's Packers-Bears, so it's always a good time. So,
yeah.
That'll be good. We also got a couple other games, Mr. Brandon Perna.
What?
Got a couple other games.
There's other football?
There's other football.
All right.
I'm very curious on your take on this of the Chargers-Ravens. Because I feel like the Ravens, first like 3 quarters of that game against the Colts, you're like, ooh, this is ugly. Like, this is bad. Lamar Jackson's like, I'm going to get you. And the Chargers are kind of infamous for letting teams get back into games.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like that perfect, like, where's Chris Collins? Here's a guy.
Here's a fella.
Here's a guy. Where, like, Lamar Jackson can pull off some, like, miraculous crap at the last second, and the Chargers would be like, oh, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be another really high-scoring game.
Yeah. I think, okay. So, I think the Chargers are starting to move past the narrative of blowing the leads. They were down, right, to the Browns last week.
Yeah.
A couple scores or whatever. Herbert is playing too well. Consistent, good football. On third down, he has been money.
Mm-hmm.
Money. The Ravens, their problem, I think, in this game would be getting down by too many points.
Got you.
Like the Chargers can score a lot and score quickly. So if the Ravens have the slow starts that they've had, Lamar Jackson might need like 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to get back into that game.
Yeah.
That said, the Chargers' weakness, stopping the run. So we have seen Lamar play back-to-back big passing games.
Yeah.
I think if the Ravens are going to win this one, they're going to have... we're going to be talking about the run game again after this. It's going to be Lamar. It's going to be whoever they have in the backfield. Latavius Murray. Nice if Tyson Williams was used again, but he seems to be on the outs. The Ravens, like the Browns, ran for 230 yards.
Oh, yeah.
So can the Ravens do that? I believe so. If they do that, I don't
Lamar Jackson will be like 165 of those 230.
Yeah. I'm kind of rooting for the Chargers to give up over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back weeks and still get the win. That's never happened in the
because
NFL.
You're a Chargers fan. Because
somebody find that stat for me. Never happened.
I'm just saying, it's because you're a closeted Chargers fan. We established that on the show already. There's just so many guys that you like on the Chargers team. You just got to embrace it, buddy. You just got to embrace the love.
I do like their head coach.
And Austin Eckler.
Roster, briefly.
You liked Austin Eckler.
Yep. Like Austin Eckler, Colorado man.
Yep. There you go.
Herbert, indifferent. I like the way he plays.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy. Doesn't get it going for me. Keenan Allen, do not like him. Mike Williams, I like.
He's playing with his hair on fire. He's playing
Chris Harris, still root for him.
Derwin James.
Here's what's kind of crazy. Okay, so the Chargers let Casey Hayward go this offseason.
I know.
And now he's balling for the Raiders. He's having like
I don't want to hear about it
in a couple years.
I don't want to hear about it.
If the Chargers would have kept him in that secondary, might have been nice. Chargers.
I wanted him to come home so bad. I wanted him to come home, come back to Green Bay, and instead we went out and got King, who had a nice game. He had a bad tackle, but he missed tackle, but he had a nice game on Sunday. But man, Casey Hayward
should have brought him back. I'm coming home.
Well, that's the thing. Casey Hayward was good in Green Bay. He was excellent when they were in San Diego. Like he was
Yeah.
excellent with the Chargers. And I think like the same thing with Micah Hyde. Like Micah Hyde leaving the Packers and like balling out with the Bills. I don't think Micah Hyde does that with the Packers because it was Dom Capers' scheme. It was not a good scheme, and the guys didn't fit. Like there's some times where there's guys don't fit the scheme, and that's why they excel at other teams. And I feel like Casey Hayward got that benefit, and as well as Micah Hyde. But I feel like now coming in, like with Joe Barry and stuff like that, I think Casey Hayward would have done just fine. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, like when Casey Hayward was playing, very well, like I remember a lot of Broncos players saying like that's the best corner, like the receivers that they have to go against is Casey Hayward. They're like, technically he's so good, like he's just tough.
Yep.
I forget which receiver said that, but that's why I was like, oh man, he's going to the Raiders. Well, he'll probably be horrible with the Raiders.
Nope.
And no, he's actually he's playing well. So
yep. But that'll be a fun game. And then you got the Cardinals and Browns, which I have the Browns winning this game.
Ooh.
Just because it's not sleeping on the Cardinals, because the Cardinals have not faced a team that can run the ball like the Browns.
No,
they haven't. They just have. It's just a completely different. Baker can obviously sling it, but they run the ball down people's throats. And I feel like if they're able to do that against that defensive line, it could be a long day for the Cardinals. So I'm not saying it's a surefire thing. I think it's going to be a very good game, but being played in Cleveland, I gave the edge to the Browns in the predictions.
And you're confirming Zach Ertz not playing for the Cardinals.
Zach Ertz is not playing for the Cardinals now.
They could use him in this game, I think. And I think that's a great point. The Browns need a win more too.
Correct.
Coming off a loss. And if you're the Cardinals, you need to get a loss out of the way, because the longer that undefeated thing hangs over your head, the more of a story it becomes, more pressure that's on you.
Real quick, I guess I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. People are talking about, what about the Titans and the Vikings? One, with the Vikings, they have Dalvin Cook, who's great, but also gets banged up. So, and even Derrick Henry being as good as he is in week 1, right? He is not Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That 1-2, you don't get any breaks. That's what I mean of like, they have not faced a running game like the Browns. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the Cardinals played both the Titans already and the Vikings is what they're saying.
Yes. Because like they played good running teams, but I see Derrick Henry, but I think it's just a completely different ball game. You have two very, very good and capable running backs. You don't get a reprieve on defense. Like, oh, they put Kareem Hunt in there. Oh, guess what? It's still going to be just as bad as Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I guess when they played, so when the Cardinals played the Vikings, Dalvin Cook rushed for 131 yards on him. Kirk Cousins had 35 rushing yards.
He did.
So yeah, I think that makes your point even stronger that
correct.
They should really worry about that. Let's see here. They played James Robinson, held him to 88, but that was 5.9 yards per carry. I think we're finding a weakness here for the Cardinals. I think Tom just called what's going to happen. Did you guys on Clickbait talk about Kareem Hunt, Bradley, or Nick Chubb versus Zeke and Pollard?
Oh, no.
Because I know every week Scooter tweets Pollard and Zeke, the best running back duo in the NFL. And immediately somebody answers with like Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah.
I guess for Clickbait, I want to talk about that because I think it's actually closer in Scooter's favor than people think. But Chubb and Hunt.
I agree. I think the way that Zeke and Pollard are playing, I agree. I completely agree.
The difference is, I think Pollard has 1 or 0 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Hunt's got like 5.
Yes.
So when the Browns get into the red zone, they deploy either back. Like they don't care. It's whoever's fresh, whoever's got the hot hand, maybe, and that's that series. So I think Kyler Murray's shoulder injury, something to just watch. Like I know it's not serious, but it was bothering him during the game. They said he was getting treatment on it this week. Something to consider when it is your quarterback who does need his shoulder. From what I know about playing football.
I think that's
I'm not a
decent
doctor.
assumption. Yeah.
I just have a fake.
But I think the Cardinals could definitely win that game. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that the Browns, I think it's just a different beast than what the Cardinals have played before. So, I mean, like that, that's why when the schedule first came out, I said the Browns beat the Packers at Lambeau Field on Christmas because their run game is that good.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like it's slowed down at all this year.
And Cleveland's defense was banged up last week. So I believe they're getting very healthy right now.
Yep. So
let me look. What's their injury report?
Now, I know we only got like 5 minutes, but I did want it because you put it in there about more emails getting leaked. Because I know that because that was Mina Kimes, I think she tweeted this out about how what's his face? Was it Pash, whatever?
Yeah, the lawyer, the NFL's lawyer, basically.
Yeah. Basically going back and forth with Josh Allen.
Bruce Allen.
Yeah, Bruce Allen, not Josh Allen. Josh Allen now in the scandal. It's funny. I was talking to Adam Rank, and he did the same exact thing. Like when we were talking about Gruden, and he was like, and the quarterback saying all these things. I'm like, what did Derek Carr say? He's like, I didn't be quarterback, I'm not head coach. Yeah, not Josh Allen. They were joking about it. And apparently Allen shared an audio file of a team song aimed at attracting Latino fans.
Yeah.
And the lawyer responded, I'm not sure this song will be as popular after the wall gets built. And the best part is Jeff Miller, who's the executive vice president of communications for the NFL, said, and I quote, Jeff Posh is a respected and high character NFL executive. Any effort to portray these emails as inappropriate is either misleading or patently false. Well, don't look like that. It looks like that's a pretty bad out of character email there.
Yeah. I think like I would follow again Pro Football Talk for this because Florio is all over the legal side of it. It's this guy Posh, he didn't say anything that even comes close to like what Gruden said.
No,
but what it revealed is a favorable relationship with Bruce Allen and the Washington football team, which you don't really want to see when that lawyer's job is supposed to be having a unbiased opinion.
Sure.
Because he's the league's lawyer, not the Washington football team's lawyer. So he's got to look at all of these franchises the same. And he's talking about rooting for Washington, how him and his wife pull for Washington. It's probably a big reason why the NFL did not want all of these emails to come out because
it's not a good look.
Oh, strike one against the NFL here. Your lawyer. I'm not saying like he even did anything that's legally wrong, but it's showing favorability towards a franchise that has gotten away with a lot of bad things happening. And it seems this little bit like they've been given passes by the NFL.
Sure.
And then that's a bad look for the league. So not Gruden level, sort of stupidity, but Bruce Allen, man, he had everybody in his pocket.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing. Like this is, I think the craziest thing is not only all the emails we haven't seen, but it's like this is from one organization, like one. You think Bruce Allen is the only guy out here who's like sending things that are like probably shouldn't be, like would make the league look very, very bad? It's just, it's wild to me.
It was like they were joking about making like forcing a player to take less money, just all this stuff you don't want, to see your organization do. So something to keep monitoring. And I think was it the Times leaked it or they published the article. So now the question is like, where are these emails even getting leaked from? Because I doubt the NFL leaks this one.
Oh, the NFL's
not
their
own guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody wanted Gruden gone. That happened. And now maybe this lawyer not in favor with somebody. And then the other thing I saw that was a good point was, there were guys in Washington like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, that during this time period who could be involved in, maybe they didn't say anything, but they could be part of email chains where stuff said that you don't want those head coach. Like, it's like, how long before somebody wants one of those guys taken down? And I don't even know if there's anything for them to be taken down with. It shouldn't be like a hit job.
No.
You just be like, this is what we found.
I think it's a very, if anything, it's a very interesting behind the scenes look on how cozy things are, like, and how, I don't want to say incestual, but it's kind of like how there is a lot of that going on, in which there's just like, you have the NFL's lawyers and how they're like kind of having these conversations. It's talking about how even John Gruden, when he wasn't even working for the NFL, like he's having that relationship with Bruce Allen. Like it's an interesting look behind the curtain.
And well, it just confirms like the stuff we assume, that it's like the owners and GMs versus the players.
Oh, yeah.
All of them sort of versus the league. Like all these cliches we kind of just assume to be true. It's just confirming some of that.
Sure. By the way, like this comment has been made, and it's honestly just a stupid comment. And we talked about this on Clickbait, and obviously this hasn't gotten through. But like, you can say that like John Gruden like deserved to be fired and still talk about other bad things that go on within the league. Like, Perna and I have talked about this. Look at Antonio Brown. Like the fact that that's hypocritical, like that you have John Gruden being taken out of the Ring of Honor, but like Antonio Brown is still like a star player on your team. Like it doesn't mean, just because you have these other offenses the NFL has failed upon doesn't mean that John Gruden should have kept a job. So this idea of like, oh, the emails were so much worse than like all this assault stuff, it's just stupid whataboutism, and it's a flawed argument, because I don't think anyone's arguing that emails are worse than all this other stuff. It just comes down to the NFL actually being consistent with their punishments and their discipline. So that could be criticized, but to think that to wipe away and to basically say, oh, what John Gruden did was fine, or like make it lesser than, is a stupid argument. Like it just straight up, like, no, like that doesn't deserve to be defended, but you can go after the NFL talking about like, hey, this is what needs to get fixed.
Yeah. So I think like our whole point was like, you want consistency. Like
that's it.
And the NFL does not do that.
No.
From their officiating to how they handle issues like this, how do they handle, player issues, like all of that stuff. It's just a mess. And as a fan, you're left like wondering, like, what are they going to do about this? What are they going to do about that? It's like they didn't suspend Richard Sherman for what happened this offseason because like he missed 6 weeks, so we don't need to do it. Like, why though? Like you would have, And it's fine. Like I'm not out against Sherman. Like I like Richard Sherman, but because no team signed him doesn't mean he didn't violate the NFL's personal conduct policy, but you gave him a pass when a lot of other players you wouldn't have. So it's just like it was a weird thing. It's about consistency. It's about everybody hopefully maintaining that professionalism, and
like that's what it comes down to. And I think and if the NFL is growing from these experiences, great. I just think that they have a track record of not. And like, that I think that's the bigger problem, is that like, we don't see like the actual implementation of action, right? They can put things in their end zone. They can have certain merch. They could do like all this stuff. But like, even, I think, was it Clickbait that we talked about, or was it here that we talked about the Susan G. Coleman thing? Like with the breast cancer stuff, like
we talked about that Wednesday.
Yeah, it was just us. Like it was just awareness. Like it's not even going to research or helping people who are afflicted with it. Like I hate that, because it's just like crappy like PR of like, let's make us look good.
Yeah, but
we'll see. But we did it.
We made it through an episode.
We did it. We crushed it. Folks, we appreciate you. We got near 2,000 once again on a Friday episode, rocking and rolling. We'll be back here, of course, on Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. But we hope you have a fantastic weekend.
We do.
And what have they been? Perna?
You've been navigated.
Navigated.